Hey, good morning. Yes, it is. It is Tuesday, March 11th. So, what are we going to be talking about today? Well, my thought process is back to business and what parts to carry on hand, where to source those parts when you're first starting out, and what customers are ones that you might not want to take on. So, stay tuned. Alrighty, welcome back to the channel. My name is Eric, if you didn't already know. And yes, this is a weekday, Monday through Friday. Today is Tuesday, March 11th of 2025. So what are we talking about today? I'm talking about for you guys that are just getting started. You don't have any supplies, you don't have any parts in stock, and you're starting from a clean slate. Now, I'm going to assume that you have some tools. If you don't, Harbor Freight and TeamU are the cheapest place to get fuel tools that I know of. And of course, I have Craftsman. My son has Snap-on. You don't need the top of the line to do the work on small engine, but it's definitely your choice. But what would I recommend to anybody first starting in when it came to, okay, so I'm going to start a repair shop. It may be out of my garage, maybe part-time at night and weekends, could be full-time. Is once you're an established, and when I say established, you're doing it the right way. And that is keeping books, keeping track of stuff, getting a credit card, debit card swipe machine is a must. And at least a tax ID. And why do I say you need a tax ID? That way it keeps you legit, even part-time, and that it allows you to, because you're acting on behalf of the state when you collect sales tax. It's not your money, it's the state's money. And all you're doing is acting as that agent. And what I found over the years is at the end of February 28th, I try to get my sales tax in the first couple of days of March, which I already have done. And they will pay you back a certain percentage for handling it. Not big money, but it's some money. But why do I say a tax ID? Well, that opens you up so that you can use Rotary, Stens are the two that I highly recommend. And why do I highly recommend both? Because I've dealt with both. I'm dealing with one, Rotary now, and both companies are super to deal with. Now you're going to say, well, they're charging more than what I can get them on eBay and Amazon. Of course they are. And with both of them, they're going to charge you a shipping fee to get it to you. But that opens you up to their catalogs of parts. And they have a lot of reference materials in their catalogs. You know, I give some of my catalogs out to customers that buy a lot of stuff so they can look up what they want. And then they just give me a call with part numbers and tell me that's what they want. Because in the book, the catalogs that come out, the prices aren't in them. It's just descriptions and everything else. You're also going to need a tax ID when you go talk to Briggs, Kohler, Hydrogear. They all want to make sure that you're legit. And the thing is, is when it comes to all of these guys, they're looking at you for being a repair shop. And here's something to keep in mind. If you're running a repair shop and you're using, let's say, Stens products, they have great products. But you're using Stens products. If you physically put that piece onto that mower and there is a failure caused from the part, Stens will replace the part. Okay? But if you're not doing any physical repairs and you're just trying to handle the parts, Stens, at least the last I knew, was unwilling to sign on any dealers that were not performing repairs as well. Because when I started selling parts for Stens online, I had to become self-insured. And what do I mean by that? I mean that if I didn't install that part, even if it was defective, Stens would not stand behind it. And totally understandable. That was their rule. That if you wanted to have it warranted, you physically had to install it on your customer's machine, and then it went. The reason they do that, and I'm pretty sure Rotary's the same way, and I'm pretty sure, I'm thinking about with all the OEM companies, yes, it's because they know that with you, if you're putting it onto that customer's machine, hopefully you at that point in time are a good enough mechanic that you do it right. Because you can fry electrical stuff in a hurry if you don't hook it up right. And other stuff that if you don't hook it up right or bolt it up right, can cause a lot of damage in a hurry, right? And what the aftermarket and OEM companies are saying is, we're selling it to you and we're willing to stand behind it as long as you install it on that customer's machine that needs the parts. Now, you are a good mechanic, reputable shop, do mechanics, and you put it on a customer's machine, something goes wrong. A lot of times they'll supply you with a new part, but they won't cover labor. Labor's on you. So, but I would suggest getting hooked up with those guys. You know, the aftermarket are going to be cheaper than the OEM. eBay and Amazon, it's a crapshoot. It wasn't too bad in the beginning, but now it's getting to be a crapshoot. They're sending you, I think, stuff that's been rejected, or stuff that doesn't even match the part number that you need. It's not set up correctly. And I know over the last year I spent more time sending stuff back than I have ordering it in and having it work. And it's a hassle. It's a pain in the backside sending stuff back. And what ends up happening is they send me the wrong part. I get back on the computer, send them a message, open a return. This is not what I asked for. And then you get your typical, well, I'll take $10 or $20 off the price of the part if you can use part of it. Excuse me? I mean, we ordered a hydraulic pump that came with a power steering pump all in one for a John Deere tractor. What they sent was not even remotely close to what they had advertised in the part number. So I sent a message back saying, I want to return it. It's not going to work. It's not what you're saying it is. I don't know what this fits. It's not plumbed right. It's bigger. And then they first start off, well, I'll give you $10 off. And let me add, the pump was $370. Then it's 20 bucks, 50 bucks, then half off. And by the time they got done, it's keep it. I don't have the one you need in stock. I will send the money back to your account. And keep track of it, because a lot of them won't send the money back after they've said they will send the money back. Continue following through with the return procedure. A lot of people end up taking the part and putting it on and assuming it's something that they've done, instead of the part coming in faulty to start with. We just had an example the other day of where a part came in. We ordered it online through eBay. It came to us, and it was actually a used part in the box. And I know what happened. They sold it to somebody else. They opened a return, and they stuck their junk carburetor in it and sent it back. And these people never checked what was in the box, or if they did, they just figured they let it fly and shipped it out. You could see the layers of dirt of where that machine had been used, even where the gaskets were and where they tightened it down. That's one thing that I had my crew always check if we took a return, to make sure it was our own. Especially on the more expensive stuff, we had markers that would show up under a blue light, and we would put in our name, so that if it came back, just put a blue light on it. It's ours. If it's not, then. But then people started catching on to that of the blue light and putting our mark on the used part. So then on the more expensive parts, we took a punch and started putting in a couple punches in certain areas that were hidden, so that if it came back and the punch marks weren't there, we knew that it wasn't the original one that we had sent. And at that point but we were doing so much business with eBay that they would stand behind us. Because one thing I will say is that for all the years we did sell in the selling venues, I was always upfront and 100% honest with my customers, with eBay, with Amazon. I didn't try putting something over on somebody. I wouldn't rule out eBay and Amazon, but I would just be hesitant. And the other thing you have to look at is that the stuff is taking quite a bit longer to get there. So if you're looking to get your repairs done a little faster, you're probably going to have to wait. Now, it's going to come down to, did the customer want to pay $78 for the part and have it in a couple of days? Or did they want to pay 20 or 30 bucks for the part and wait a couple of weeks? I find most people want it now as quickly as possible, but they don't want to pay the higher price. But if you don't give them a choice and you're trying to get stuff in and out and make money, the Stens, Rotary are good companies to deal with and get hooked up with the others. You're going to be bottom tiered. And what do I mean by bottom tiered? I mean, it's going to be based on the part sales that you're doing with these companies. The more you're doing, the more of a discount they will give you. They have tiers in there, and I think Stens had 5 or 6 tiers. We were at warehouse top level, but we were selling a lot of parts for them. No, we had a great run. I think the world of the staff that's over at Stens and the company itself, they're phenomenal to deal with. I'm going to start wrapping this up. But it doesn't take a lot to get into. It doesn't take a lot of tools. Look back on my educational videos and you'll find a number of videos on just what tools that are handy in the shop, and then certain tools you can add on as you continue to grow. But If you want to deal with the aftermarket or OEM companies, you are going to have a tax ID, business name, and be legit. Can you still work out of your garage or, your shed or absolutely. But these companies are wholesale companies, so they will only deal with somebody that's got a tax ID unless you're wholesaling it to somebody else, which you're not, because they won't sell it to you. So on that note, I hope you have a great day, and we'll catch you here bright and early tomorrow morning.